Hello, everybody. Jochen Klinke here, Director of Science at Seabird Scientific. I'm going to tag team here with Genevieve because we're going to cover some of the early career opportunities, for professionals in the ocean area. And Genevieve is going to talk about gender representation in those careers. So I joined Seabird about just over 6 years ago. First in product management, and been in my current role for the last 3 years, pretty much all of the pandemic since then. Yeah.
So I'm Director of Products and Global Services. I'll talk a little bit more about my particular journey on a later slide.
So I think if I kind of look back at my career, there were like two things that were really important to me when I made a decision about a job. First, make sure it's something you love to do, so it doesn't feel like work. And what I really loved doing was problem solving. And the second part of it was find something that really that makes a little bit of a difference, that matters. So those two things were kind of my criteria. So when you look at Seabird's mission here, powering science-based decisions for a better ocean, that really hit the note on both remarks, on both levels. So that was really appealing to me. So in essence, we partner with scientists and researchers to develop technology and sensors that will help you better understand climate change, global warming, ocean acidification. So it's something that really is important these days. Ultimately, it's the data that matters, and that data really helps us make informed decisions about the future of our planet here. So totally seemed to be the right thing for me. If you look at the goals for the UN Decade of Ocean Science, it's really about expanding the global ocean observation network, kind of creating a digital representation of the ocean, and kind of delivering the data, knowledge, and technology for all, in the hope that we are kind of changing the relationship with the ocean a little bit. So for me, that seemed to be really closely linked to what Seabird does. And in essence, it really matters what we do. And it's a great time and an exciting time to be in this field. From a personal perspective, somebody earlier said there isn't really a direct path, from what you had in mind and how you ended up in oceanography. I think that could not be true for me. I have a background in applied physics, a PhD there, so there isn't really a direct connection to ocean science. And I spent pretty much the first half of my career, the first 15, 20 years in academia. And at the time, I really struggled with making a decision to make the transition to industry. Mostly because I did not have any formal training in any of the areas that really matter for industry. So it was a difficult decision. I haven't regretted it. And rather than giving you my advice in terms of what helped me make a decision, since it's about 15 years or 20 years since I made that decision, I figured it would be important to get a more up-to-date view. So at Seabird, we have a bunch of early career professionals in all different areas, ranging from science, technical support, product management, software, data science, sales and marketing, and operations. So I figured I'm just going to ask them to give me some advice for you in terms of what really helped them in making decisions for their career. And I'm not going to read here the quotes. Everybody had a little bit of an individual situation, but there are kind of two themes that came through. One is you just don't have to be too specialized. Just being open to learning new things is really important. And on the second part, it was trying to figure out what that was now. So yeah, I think having that openness to learning and not having that special skill set is important. And I think the second part was don't wait too long in terms of getting experience in the industry field, because ultimately it will help you make decisions even if you decide to stay in academia in terms of what courses to take and all this. So this really matters. I wish at the time I would have had that experience in industry, and it wouldn't have taken me so long to make that transition. So I'm going to turn it over to Genevieve.
So for me, my background was in marine biology. And I was so excited. It was finally in grad school when I got the opportunity to go on a longer term cruise to really be out and doing the work. And I was certain, like since I was a child, that I was going to be a researcher. That's what I wanted to do. That's how I was going to do this. That was my plan. And I got out on the water and I discovered that I am not seaworthy. And so once I stopped throwing up, I was like, I need a new plan. This is not going to go the way that I want. So at the time, finished up my degree, moved out to the Seattle area, and I was looking for opportunities, and I saw a position for a calibration technician at Seabird Scientific, and I had used some of those, some Seabird equipment in grad school, and I was like, oh, I'll just see what that's about. And then 20 years later, here I am still with Seabird, and just been able to grow and develop with the company and with the industry, which I find personally really exciting. One of the things I also wanted to talk about, and a lot of the people that you've heard from have touched on this already, is just the need for gender diversification in ocean business. Ocean business, STEM overall, study of women in the workplace by McKinsey in 2022 found that only 32% of women are in technical or engineering roles, and we've actually lost ground in those roles in particular since 2018. So we're not necessarily on a good path there. Ocean science is doing a little better. So 37% of people in the ocean science workforce are women or identify as being women. And that is a little bit better than sort of that STEM overall, but still not great when you consider that they earn half the PhDs. So there's still a gap, and I think what that leads to, that a number of people talked to already, is sometimes you find that you're the only one. You're the only one in the room that's like you. You're the only one in your business. You're the only one in a conference. You're the only one in the meeting space, and that can be very difficult. There's biases that turn up that are more difficult to overcome. Just an added layer of things that you need to navigate. The thing that I'm finding interesting is that as we're getting a little bit better, and you're not necessarily the only one anymore, it's that critical mass of women and people of color that help us uncover the systemic biases that we're facing. And so there's a couple of examples. There's a recent example from the University of California in San Diego with women faculty systemically receiving less research and office space. There's a great documentary called The Uprising that focuses on a similar phenomenon from the faculty at MIT. So the women there actually just got really sciencey about it and started measuring their office space and started talking about their salaries, and found that there was a systemic situation where they were receiving less lab space and lower salaries. And why that's important for Seabird to know about and to think about is that gender diverse teams do better. So when you build a team that's diverse in its gender, it's diverse in its experiences, you have a richer opportunity for people that are bringing a different perspective into the room and into the game. That's changing when you're talking about innovation that brings better problem solving, and ultimately that flows right to the bottom line. That flows to increased revenues. We also find that gender diverse teams are better at serving increasingly gender diverse customer bases. So again, if you want to be able to design, if you want to be able to have a user experience that encompasses a broader set of experiences, you need different people in the room to be able to do that. And then finally, it's just really important for attracting and retaining talent. So when you see someone like yourself in a role, you can picture yourself there. You can picture yourself doing that thing, even if maybe you don't fit the stereotype or that wasn't something that you pictured for yourself before. So that representation also really matters. So at Seabird, how that translates for us is firm believer that you don't fix what you don't measure. So we keep metrics on our women and people of color representation across the organization because for us, gender diversity is just a business priority that makes a lot of sense. So we're seeing things moving in the right direction, but we absolutely want to keep that momentum going. And if you have any other questions, you want to share your thoughts, your experiences about this, or anything else, any other questions you have about, hey, what do I do between academia and industry? This is our contact information, and we're available at the booth to talk to anytime.
L9.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks everyone.